Let's explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
All right, good morning, Badlandia. Welcome to Badlands Daily.
It really feels like the cat with the laser pointer. It's like you've led the cat up to the top of the building, and now you're leading it over the edge.
President Trump is rebalancing trade around the world and making things more fair for the American people.
I think that anytime the deep state can like overcapitalize in whatever situation they have, they're going to.
But the rest of it is a very well organized and well funded color revolution operation of the type they run all over the world again and again and again to destabilize entire society.
All right, good morning, Badlandia. Welcome to Badlands Daily. It's Thursday, and for the first time in the history of Badlands, Alpha was here before the intro played. But your headphones were off, so you couldn't hear me. I was trying to get your attention. You couldn't hear me.
Oh.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just, navigating the propaganda that exists on social media.
Oh, boy. Did you see
bro? It's nonstop.
Did you see the Ed Martin post?
I did. Fire Ed Martin. I'm sorry. Oh. I love Ed Martin. Fired Todd Blanche.
No, did you see his one this morning?
I did. And I'm telling you, fired Todd Blanche.
That?
Yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Fired Todd Blanche and fire Susie Walls.
I'm going with it was a canary trap, man.
I'm telling you, absolute certainty it was not.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll put it this way. I'm going to play like mainstream media did. Sources close to those involved fire Todd Blanche.
I'm going to do that.
I mean, I'll share with you offline. I don't have the privilege to share it online, and I'm not gatekeeping. It's just not my information.
Share it offline either, but I'll take your word for it. You're trustworthy to me. So if you say fire Todd Blanche, I'm with you.
The way I see that photo is this is my opinion of interpretation of this photo.
Oh boy, we're gonna get fired spicy in the morning.
Is that's Ed Martin going like this to Todd Blanche, like, you thought you had me, homie. You thought you had.
Without knowing the context of your source and the depth and all that, to me it looks like saying, haha, we got you. We leaked to you that Todd Blanche fired me. One person started this rumor. We know who we told. I don't want to ruin too much, but have you seen The Rip?
The Rip? Oh, no.
Movie, Matt Damon, no. Ben Affleck?
No, I have not. As a matter of fact, somebody told me to watch it because I have it written down. I think it was Ghost. I think Ghost is the one that told me to watch it.
He's the one that told me to watch it. You got to watch it. And I'm not going to say any more than that. But I'm going to go with maybe it was a canary trap. And, President, everybody freaked out about it. Ed Martin the next day posts him flexing with President Trump, standing next to President Trump in the Oval. And then today we get this, Todd Blanche, the guy that allegedly fired him, is now, and there's also the theory that I had first on is that he is away from weaponization now because he's working explicitly on pardons because, pardons it doesn't go away until the pardons are handled, right? That part. So.
No.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it.
Here's what I'll say. It's and there is that stuff happening, and that's why I don't disagree with you for having that opinion on it, because I have that opinion on a lot of things, especially is the leakers. I think that there is no doubt that that's been happening. This one specifically, fire Todd Blanche, fire Susie Wiles.
Okay.
You know, and I'm taking this photo as one of those things where, you know, you thought you had me, you thought you had juice, and you don't. I mean, Ed Martin was going to remain in the DOJ regardless, you know, and I think a lot of people were, you know, you probably don't have that, you understand this, but a lot of people in the audience probably does. He didn't get removed from, you know, working under Trump's administration.
Right.
He got removed from being, you know, chief of the weaponization committee. But
yeah, but he was specifically appointed to that committee directly by
President Trump.
And if the president appoints you, the president is the only one that should be able to remove you from that.
Okay, so Canary Trap, yes, but not for social media people and leakers.
Oh, I know.
Canary Trap in the reverse.
Oh, okay. All right, man. Well, it's a wicked web, and we're trying to weave through it. So we'll get into the show.
That's the damn truth.
Yeah, I'm going to apologize in advance today. I'm trying to get everything as organized as we can. I did a segment on InfoWars this morning, like right before we went live. I literally jumped from Brianna Morello's show to here. I do have an update, you know, for those of you that watched on DPH last night. Stinchfield's people reached out to me and they're like, hey, can you come on tonight? We didn't mean not to attribute it. We want to let you tell the story and everything else. So I'll be over on Real America's Voice tonight as well at 7 p.m. So hat tip to them. That's rare that people, you know, do that. And I don't think, you know, he didn't do it. He's a Marine. He's a good guy. He was on with Christina Bobb. Fascinating segment, by the way. Like, they did a good segment. She's also a Marine. So you've got 4 Marines all right here in this little sphere. So yeah, I'll be looking.
You got a little sensitive on that one too quick.
Well, it's not. People don't understand how much. No. People don't understand how much work goes into a story like that. Like, it's not like I made a clip and put it out there and watermarked it. No, this was
you did phenomenal work.
This was a story that I had to read 103 pages. Right. Found my little thing. I had enough like foreknowledge of things that have happened in the past that I was able to put pieces together in a way that, you know, told the story. You know, I was able to reach out to Catherine Engelbrecht and talk with her. And the problem that I have is that is a really serious story. That story right there is basically accusing the governor of Georgia of obstructing justice and perhaps a pay for play scheme. Because I found, this is breaking news, I found a 4th judge now that has been appointed to a judgeship following an election obfuscation, ignoring or, you know, doing something to kick the can down the roads on elections. And so this is breaking news. I actually just broke it on InfoWars, but we found a judge that was an appellate court judge, and his name is Judge Andrew Pinson. And he upheld the lower court's ruling that Garland Favorito's case, the Jeffords case, did not have standing. He upheld it on the appellate court. Within months, I think, I don't know the exact timeline, but within months, he gets appointed to the Georgia Supreme Court as a justice. One of the justices retired in July. He was appointed in August. Now, he was only on the appellate court for 1 year. 1 year. So you're on the appellate court 1 year, you get promoted, you kick the can down the road, you on an election integrity case to review the ballots, huge deal in Georgia. And then all of a sudden the governor appoints you to a Supreme Court nomination. Now, the glorious part about this, let me see if I can find this real quick and I'll pull this in here and then we'll actually get into the show. Sorry, guys. Let me pull this up because I want you guys to read this because it's excellent. Check this out. Boom. And boom. There we go. So one of his first cases, I don't know, well, maybe not one of his first cases, but a case that he had to, that he was on the Supreme Court over was the same case, Caroline Jeffords versus Fulton County, that he said they don't have standing. he had to sit on the Supreme Court for that case, recuse himself, and watch the Supreme Court overturn his decision in the appellate court. How is that not like justice or what? So just want to show that. You see down here, all the justices concur except Justice Pinson, disqualified. So, I mean, how many judges does it take that get appointed to, and to be fair, Pinson was at least a judge before, right? He was an appellate court judge. But the other three judges, none of them were judges before their career. One was a lawyer, one was an inspector general, and one was the director of the GBI. And they're all judges now. It's fascinating.
It don't happen by accident.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
People need to start researching Kemp's wife, Brian's issue with alcoholism.
Oh,
resurfaced.
Oh, whoa. Well, you know, again,
listen, here's one. Hats off to you on the work you did. And the part that sucks with social media is the first place I saw your work was in the video clip of Stinchfield and Christina. And that's what showed up on my timeline first. And then from there, I was just like, what's my boy working on here? So then, and I went and looked into it, and that, clip, went into your actual link and all that. And I was like, this is phenomenal. This is detective work. Like what you did is legit detective work. That's investigation work. That's what citizen journalism supposed to be like. And so you did a great job. And as a result of that, a lot of people that know my relationship with you started saying, hey, let your boy know about this, and the other. So I was just like, can't wait to wake up Thursday morning and CannCon some of this information. Just know you impressed a lot of people, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And there's more to come. I'll just say that there's going to be a lot more on this.
And there's a lot too. I'm not going to say everybody was born evil. A lot of people get intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back to the situation with his daughter and what was it?
Harrison Deal.
Yeah, I think you're frozen on my screen.
Am I?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. It's just there you are.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm just looking at the screen.
Damn, bro. That was a good job. I was like,
well,
but I mean, if you go back to that situation, it's this is a rabbit hole that a lot of people need to go right back for. It's easy for us to say, hey, you know what, drop the hammer on this guy for the stuff he did, and I agree with that. There's accountability, but let's not ignore is there a situation of things that led up to that, because that then all of a sudden when you do that, you start to see, was there nexus between that group of people that might have been involved with things that intimidated them to other places and other people as well. So I just got to say is, we need accountability. We need these investigations. I think the dude's in a world of trouble, but we got to dig like farther down this rabbit hole and make sure we get the entire thing that created it.
Well, I mean, I agree with you in part, but I also push back and say that when you're in a position like that, and I know it's difficult when you're actually in that position, but your integrity has to be beyond reproach. And if you are able to be compromised by something, then you're not the man for that position in the first place, and I've never been nearly on the scale that Brian Kemp is the governor of a state in a relatively large state and a very important state in terms of elections. But I had discussions with people before I published this article. Do I want to do this under my name? Do I want to do this under a surname, like a ghost name or a pseudo or something like that? But the bottom line is if something happens to you because you're putting out truth, because you're doing your job with integrity, then whatever happens to you happens to you. And it is what it is.
Here's the reason that you'll be safe too, is we're in a scenario right now because the fear you have is legitimate, 100% legitimate. And it's what's preventing a lot of people from, wanting to put out the information that they're getting from sources. There's one thing to protect a source. There's another thing to be like, this ain't even about the source. I just want to protect myself, and the information ever surfaces for the public opinion. We're in a window right now where our administration is, aspects of our administration is going to make sure that information like this, that it's coming from people, not only that are they protected, but guess what? This puts you on the spotlight. And I think this is why there's a bunch of other people that are trying to run with this narrative and not attribute it to you, because they know breaking information like this brings other sources forward. And so, and that's why people need to know where this came from, who did the work, who understands it, and then make sure that those sources go to those people, or those whistleblowers, or anybody with information on it comes to you.
Yeah. Richard Rohr says, Brian, until they hold a gun to your head of your loved ones, you will never know what you do. This is true.
That's not true.
Well, it is true, but I thought about that. And I know that that's something that absolutely can happen. In fact, they're the most vulnerable. They're the most vulnerable because I'm a Marine. I'm a combat veteran. I have my head on a swivel. I'm a firearms guru, but they're not.
Here's I get where he's coming from. First, shout out to D Dallied, said, I lost the message one way.
Like a Spanish person, D Dallied. Like it's D-Dale. In America, it's D-Dale.
It was a funny, what was it? Where
Dale.
Hollywood is calling with that freeze play game from earlier. I saw that one, but no, and I get what he's saying, that you don't know until you put until they put a gun to your loved one's head. Here's what I'll tell you: you have to do what's right. Period. In the story. Because here's the thing: if they do that to your loved ones, and you don't, they're going to kill them anyways.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe that evil has mercy. It does not. If you end up in the city, and then Hollywood's created that false ideology with that. If you get to the situation where they threaten your loved ones, your loved ones, they're done. That's just the sad reality of it. And so are you. So it's a matter, do you want to go down? Do you want to die, thinking that you're going to be shared mercy and the information never comes forward? Or do you at least want to die and prevent other people from dying by putting that information out there? And this goes back, I can relate this to law enforcement, is people are afraid to talk to the police because they're afraid of retaliation.
Yep.
But if you go and you talk to, officers in some of the craziest gang neighborhoods, it's very, 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 very rare that you have retaliation against a normal citizen who snitched. It's very rare in these days, the last 20 years. But it's that mindset that the gangs operate off of because they know it works. But here's the thing: the reason they don't do it anymore is because they know that their motive number one, and they know that the crimes get enhanced even further from what they had: witness intimidation, witness tampering, all these things. So they just don't. And that's what people need to understand. And courage is contagious. Is you have to speak up when you know it. Period. End of story. That's it.
This is a post. Sidney Powell reposted my story, or my ex post about it, and says, remember what happened on a highway in Georgia to a wonderful young man who was connected to Kemp, Loeffler, and Purdue after all three called for a signature audit. Run the timeline on Kemp's change of heart and add in the bogus dismissal of our 4 federal fraud cases, and you kind of get the picture of what happened there. And this is something that I implied immediately. I think it was with I can't remember who I was talking with, but we were talking about this story, and that was one of the first things I said. Somebody asked me, why do you think this is happening? Why would he stop that? And I said, well, he implemented the machines, and he also had what could be perceived as a direct threat against his family. And that's, his daughter's boyfriend, after he called for the signature audits, that happening, and then completely reversed course after that. So, but let's get into the actual show. And again, I apologize if something's out of whack here, because like I said, it's been a busy 24 hours for me, but start
digging into Brian Kemp's wife.
Okay. All right.
She runs the governor's mansion.
Well, I mean, all the wives run the mansion.
You're not wrong there.
Here.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong there.
That's what a housewife is supposed to do: run the mansion. Alpha being alpha. All right, let's check out mypillow.com.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, MyPillow mattresses and MyPillow mattress toppers as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets. Regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard MyPillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale, only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's going to ship absolutely free.
All right, mypillow.com, promo code Badlands.
And just for clarification, so there's no confusing, Vic Reynolds for alcoholism, Kemp for what happened with Loeffler, and Kemp for his wife, just so people understand, you know, what my opinion is for each one of those people.
Alpha the Fed comes into my show and is like, hey, there's eyes on you right now because of what you just dropped. And Alpha's like, alcoholic, drug addict, you know, run by his wife.
I didn't say he was a drug addict.
You're trying to get in trouble, bro.
And you know, my opinions are my opinions.
You're trying to get me in trouble, bro.
You want to make
want
sure
me to get Alpha in trouble? Let's get Alpha in some trouble. Let's get Alpha in some trouble. Talk about some soft disclosure.
The following ad is rated M for mature. Soft Disclosure wants you to get naked this Valentine's Day with limited edition his and her bundles that save you 20% off the individual retail prices. Proprietary oil infusions, grass-finished beef tallow, goat's milk from American goats, locally grown herbs and ingredients. Soft Disclosure is putting America First fruits on your skin.
And for these sexy bundles, we've added an all-new boar's haired beard brush and a solid jade gua sha. And the reason I'm here is because Alpha doesn't know how to say these words.
Gusha. His, hers. We need a moment to calm down. Don't hide your skin. Disclose it. Get naked this Valentine's Day with Soft Disclosure. Head over to softdisclosure.com and save 20% off individual retail prices with our his and hers customizable bundles, and use promo code NAKED to save 15% off the rest of the site. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Promo code does not apply to bundle discounts.
Say Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Say it again slowly.
Valentine's Day.
Okay, you said it with an N that time.
I always said it with an N.
No, you've never said it with an N, including the time just before that.
Play the video again.
I did. We played it like 4 times. Every single time we point out that you say Valentine's Day, not Times Day, Times Day.
Valentine's.
It's good, man. It's good, man. All right, let's get into the news, guys. Scott Bessent was before the House Finance Committee yesterday, and what a shit show. If you, again, this is just like, I don't even listen to these congressional hearings anymore, these testimonies for content. Like, you don't get content, right? All you get out of this is the Kabuki theater, the Barnum and Bailey circus that it is. So check out this segment here. I've got 3 clips, so we'll just play them. There isn't really anything to comment on because it's a shit show. That's literally all this is.
Financial services firms?
Well, I think the Biden administration had an extension.
Sir, please be responsive to my question.
I am. I'm trying, sir, and this back and forth is just eating your time. That the Biden administration had an extinction policy for crypto.
This is when Trump came into office. I'm going to go to the next question because you're not. Your answers on, Mr. Chairman. The answers have to be responsive if we're going to have a serious hearing here.
Well, the questions have to be serious.
Well, those are 100 dismissals of cases that the Trump administration came in and executed in their first weeks in office. Like that. All of a sudden, all these crypto cases went away. The SEC was dropping cases. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau dropping cases. And
Well, sir,
look, you're on FSOC with all the heads of these agencies. This should be a serious question to you. Trust should be a serious question and a serious issue for the financial services industry, especially as the Secretary of the Treasury.
Well,
that's an important. No, this is my time. I haven't asked you any more questions. I haven't asked you any more questions.
It's the gentleman from Massachusetts.
I'm trying to get to my next question.
Could you speak a little louder? I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay. I might.
Mr. Secretary, let Mr. Lynch proceed with his time. Put 4 seconds.
Oh man, like Besant is savage, dude.
That was pretty based right there.
That was savage. You got to ask me a serious question, and then I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Just savage. Got another one here that's also equally as savage. Well, no, actually, this one isn't savage. The next one is savage. Here is Besant with the fake representative from California, Mrs. Maxine Waters.
My time
was a mass unfettered immigration.
Mr. Chair, we
let in
you know that when I
Time does belong
to housing
woman.
120 million immigrants.
Can you
took
shut
up the housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gentleman's time has expired.
No, my time has not expired.
Your time has expired. The gentleman
took up my time.
That is the most fascinating statement right there. The gentleman took up my time. I'm supposed to be the one here speaking and getting my 5-minute sound clip, not him. He's not supposed to be answering questions.
We're supposed to ask questions that paint a narrative and then interrupt the person when they're answering and move on to our next question and continue this. So later on, we can say that this is what actually happened. I love that it's been thrown in their face like that.
Dude, it is
Can
so
you get him to shut up?
It is so glorious to watch these people just act like absolute retards and just uncivilized. You know, this isn't. When did we ever have? I mean, we had heated debate, right? We had heated debate, but when you bring an expert, you know, or somebody that you're supposed to have an oversight over, you let them talk. You know, and I couldn't care less what they're going to ask, because everything that comes out of their mouth is something to get, you know, a gotcha moment, a sound clip, you know, show that we really stand for the party, you know, that kind of shit. And it's all stupid. It's all stupid, especially because they're all illegitimate. Not, despite what Tupperville says about only a half dozen. No. Every single one of those people there are illegitimate. And until we get free and fair elections, prove otherwise. But here's Representative Meeks. This is the most ruckus that we get from this.
On behalf,
I take that as a no. You do not want to answer that question. I take that as a no.
For a $7 billion.
I'm asking you to do your responsibility as Secretary of the Treasury. You do not. Will you?
Time has expired.
You cannot erase what you did.
He's the one that went past your time, Mr. Chairman.
No, and
he did not answer my question. And he wouldn't pass the time.
He had 6 seconds left to try to answer your question, and
it was a yes or no. It was a yes or no answer. I asked him, Willie,
gentlemen,
yes or no.
Recognizes gentleman.
Stop covering for the president.
Yeah, well,
stop being his flunky.
And
gentlemen,
he's talking to me. I'm responding back to him.
2006 trip to Venezuela.
Stop covering for the president. Don't be a flunky. Work for the American people.
Did he drop an F-bomb?
He did. He wanted to say, "Don't be a effing B," but he couldn't stop himself from getting the effing part out. He had enough time to pump the brakes on the B, but he wanted to say, "Stop being an F."
That is so epic, man. That is just.
It shows the lack of control that they have because of the panic that they're going through.
Oh man, these people are just.
I hadn't seen that one, so thanks for sharing that one.
I'm sure there's more too. You know, this is just what gets out in, you know, out in the Twitter sphere and everywhere else. And so, you know, it's just funny to watch. I couldn't care less about it anymore. I used to, you know, maybe like 4 years ago, I'd watch hearings that I was interested in. And I guess I did watch the J6 one because I wanted to see if that was actually going to be taken seriously, because that's something that, you know, we both have personal stake in. So I wanted to see that one, but it turned out to be a shit show. It's just really, it's so partisan now, man. George Washington reminded us of this. and towing the party line like every single, well, not every single one, but most of these people do, is not how this country is designed to be run. And
it's not.
It just makes me sick. But
Let
you want
me-
to see something?
Let me ask you this question. If things don't happen, if we don't get arrest, is that President Trump's fault or is that our fault?
So I've been having conversations with people that, that I work with in on that side of things, on the investigation side rather than the reporting and journalism side. And one of the things I'm telling people is like, we've got to win this now in the court of public opinion. We're not going to win in any courts, and there's no holds barred, and I mean, there's going to be stories coming out in the next, month or two that are stories that should have been preserved as evidence and put in court. But the courts are just disgusting. They're woefully inadequate. They're partisan. They're biased. They don't get anything accomplished. They kick the can down the road. James O'Keefe, when he was interviewing that FBI guy, not interviewing, but candid cameraing that FBI guy, he said the quiet part out loud. There's not going to be any arrests because these are crimes that they can keep tied up in the courts for years and years and years. And eventually President Trump won't be there. And once he's not there, these will quietly go away. So now it's a matter of exposure. And will we get arrests? Yes, I think we're going to get a lot of arrests at some point. But is it going to lead to anything? Probably not.
I think it will. I don't think we understand how that's going to be obtained, but it's going to. But the most important thing you said was that court of public opinion is, and that's why I asked the question, whether you believe the tinfoil side of what's happening, behind the scenes operations, or whether you just operate at, I'm only believing what I see. In fact is fact. I don't believe that there's any secret, operations going on. The president, to fulfill the things that he wants to do and institute some of, the unprecedented moves that he needs to do, the court of public opinion needs to support it, but it also needs to demand it. So this way, it's not a guess of how they're going to approach President Trump. They've already tried to do the impeachment, so they're already putting out there he's tyrannical, because they want him to make these moves ahead of the court of public opinion demanding it. And the thing that's important right now is, us, the people in this audience, the people on social media, the people that are out there, we need to call out the things that we don't like in a way that's, not subverting him, because there's people that want to take it out of context and say, oh, look, he's losing his base. Oh, they're turning on him. So you have to be very responsible and careful on how you articulate that message to him. But we have to have that message out publicly. And this goes all the way back to, remember when we all got pissed off when he would talk about the jab at the rallies?
Yep.
And amongst ourselves, we're like, I wish he would stop doing it. And then all of a sudden at rallies, when he would bring it up, people would just start going, no, and they loved him. And it got to a point where what happened after that? He stopped bringing it up at the rallies. Like that was a training moment, folks. If we want the arrest, then we need to make our voices loud about the things that we know or suspect are preventing those arrests. So this way he can make the moves he needs to make.
This is and I don't, on this show, at least, I don't typically go to Q posts, but just read this post. This one always makes me think of the court of public opinion.
What happens when people learn the truth? What happens when people wake up? They will not be able to walk down the street. The Great Awakening. Yeah, we brought this one up Tuesday night.
Okay, so I did not pay attention. So if I, am double tapping anything that you guys said.
No, it's important, and it needs to keep being brought up for everybody that subscribes to Q theory, because that's a very important one. With what's going on right now.
Why are they saying? Why does he say, or they say, they will not be able to walk down the street? It's not because they're in prison. It's because the court of public opinion has convicted them. The court of public opinion has cast them as persona non grata, has acknowledged what they did. Whether or not a court comes out and, says one way or the other, the court of public opinion, and this is the exact playbook that they used against us with January 6th, with election fraud deniers, with no mask wearers, all the shit right? The people that had their own personal sovereignty were cast as lepers, right? We were in a leper colony during the COVID era, because the people that were still watching CNBC or MSNBC and CNN and even Fox News were freaking the bleep out because we refused to get the jab. We refused to wear the mask. We refused to stand 6 feet. We refused to not go out. And they cast us aside. And they literally, I mean, there were people whose accounts were canceled over election denialism. There were people, over going to J6. And so they used the court of opinion way more effectively than we did. Now, I just want to throw this out there. What I've experienced over the last 2 days, since yesterday, when I put that story out, we are winning the court of public opinion, and not just MAGA and whatever. Badlands is when you have people that when you have a it's not mainstream necessarily, but reach out and say, hey, we screwed up. That's because Badlanders jumped on that and said, hey, why didn't you give credit to this? And that's the point I'm making, is that we have more influence than we ever could imagine right now. And that's Badlands, that's MAGA, that's all of it. And we got to win that battle. That's the battle we got to win. And the courts will fall into place when they have the public mandate, like President Trump has with the election, allegedly fake elections, but mandate's probably a lot more. If they would have saw 80% popular vote for Trump, they would have freaked the bleep out. But I'll land that there.
And with that point, listen, the same way the bad guys deploy operatives out into the different media sphere, so do the good guys, folks. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these good guys are out there showing all of us how to address these people, how to corner them with questions, how to make their dirty laundry that's coming out surface so that they can't walk down the street, because everybody's going to present them with these questions. If you're paying attention, there are journalists out there that are doing this. I would argue good guy operatives. But if they're the only ones doing it, then that movement, that opportunity, that window, we don't take advantage of it. And that needs, and that's what needs to happen. And I get it. And I've seen some people in the chat, military is the only way. And I'm not going to shift to that argument. But what I will tell you is, it was military is in control. And over 300,000 kids went missing during Biden's administration. That doesn't happen when your military is in control. You had people that were separated and didn't get to be with their loved ones when they died. That's real. A lot of us know people that experience it. That doesn't happen when the military is in control. So it's one of two things. Either we didn't interpret the message of what military in control actually means, or we're not at the phase yet where that's the actual truth. But the one thing that is the truth is that the military being in control, the white hats being something that exists, does not absolve us of our responsibility, our civic duty to do our part in this. And what I'm seeing a lot of people do are they're misinterpreting messages as, well, we don't have to panic because all this stuff is cool. It's theatrics. And that's that's the absolute worst thing. Well, with trust the plan, I absolutely trust the plan, but I know what the plan is, the understanding of it. And there's a lot of people that will shit on trust the plan. And I ask them, well, what's the plan? Well. So I'm like, oh, so you're shitting on something you don't know. It could be a good plan. It could be a terrible plan, but you don't even know what it is. And then I see a lot of people that are like, trust the plan. I'm just like, well, what is the plan?
Right.
And
somebody,
and they don't they don't understand it. So I'm like, how can you have faith in something that you don't understand? And I'll tell everybody out there, if there's anybody out there that is trying to shit on it, ask them what it is. If there's people out there that are telling you, to be static, trust the plan, ask them what it is. And if they can't articulate it to you in a way that's understandable, then all they're doing is regurgitating a message that's become popular and trending. And that's not what it was. The 17th letter of the alphabet was introduced to us because when Trump came out in 2016 to 2017, he did what was one of the most powerful things in the strategic warfare. He delegitimized mainstream media, the authority of information. And when you do that, when you delegitimize it, the next move is all of a sudden it becomes decentralized. And why was information being decentralized so important? Because you can attack the man or the woman for their message based off, whatever mistakes they've made. But if information is decentralized, you can't do that to 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people. Once the genie's out of the bottle, it's there. And so in that vacuum of, because of Trump, delegitimizing and decentralizing media, what happened? All of a sudden these boards populate. And why? Because you have to have something there to fill that vacuum. But the thing is a lot of people stop, and it was, I'll keep going on it, man. And that's what the show's about. It's just important because we're living right in the climax of all these things right now.
I agree. We're gonna segue here, but before we do that, let's real quick check in with another sponsor here, guys. It's well known that expensive meds and the popular shots have dangerous side effects. Creators Bounty has developed the perfect alternative. It's an herbal supplement called Elohetrium. Elohetrium is a 100% natural formula proven to dramatically lower your blood sugar and A1C. It uses 7 healthy ingredients, no stimulants, no junks. These 7 ingredients would cost you over $150 if you bought them all separately. But here is the best part. There are no bad side effects, only good ones. We're talking sugar cravings gone, inflammation reduced, and stable energy all day with 0 crashes. Seriously, most people are getting better results than they did on the harsh meds, but without the risk. Elohetrium is made in the USA at an FDA-registered facility, fully tested, and is backed by a no questions asked 90-day money-back guarantee. The friendly folks over at Creators Bounty offer fast and free shipping 5 days a week from Oklahoma. Head on over to creatorsbounty.com/rumble and take advantage of this special offer today. And I've got some of the Elohetrium, boom, right there. I got me 3 bottles to give it a shot and see how it works out. They sent me a letter, and I was thinking it's going to be like a generic letter or whatever. And I'm reading through it, and I'm like, this is oddly personal. And they watched the show. They used to live down here in Florida. I actually know where they're at. And they taught me what Elohetrium actually means. Elo, is it Elohe or Elo? I think it's Elo means earth. And then the other part, hetrium, means, let me make sure I get this right. Elohe in Cherokee means slim. And where's the other part right here? All right, I'm missing it. Elohe means earth in Cherokee, and trim is like slim. So there it is. So Elohetrium means earth slim or earth trim.
So I'm assuming that we know Elohetrium is the correct way to say it then, since there's been so much controversy.
No, it is Elohetrium.
Elohetrium. Okay.
Elohetrium. So Creators Bounty, check out the link, and let's get into this next story right here from the New York Post. Let's lighten things up a little bit, right? We just had a pretty serious opening to the show. Let's lighten this shit up. New York Post, comedian rips Minnesota venue after 6 sold-out shows are canceled over backlash to Renee Good joke. Fuck them. The only response, fuck off. It says a Minnesota comedy club abruptly canceled 6 sold-out shows by comedian Ben Bankus after a viral clip of his stand-up routine ignited outrage. Laugh Camp Comedy Club in St. Paul, Minnesota pulled the plug on Bankus' schedule January 30th through February 1st performances after backlash erupted over jokes he made about Renee Good. Now, I have a lot of issues with this. I'm with what Bankus said. Fuck them. But can you imagine being a business owner and cuckolding to these people so much so that you have somebody coming in that sold out 6 fucking shows, 6 shows sold out. And you're like, oh, well, the people that would never come to my club anyways to see this show are mad about it. So I'm going to cancel it. And I'm going to tell all the 6 shows worth of sold out people or sold out shows of people, I'm going to tell them, piss off. You guys can't see this guy.
You know what he should do right now? I'm assuming it's a he. He should find out who the rival club is to that business
and go
over there and say, hey, I'll do it a third of the price of over there, and let everybody know. let all these people know so that they demand their refunds. let them know.
So this guy's actually, he's pretty funny. We played him on Ychromes a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know who he was. And now look at where he's at now. Ychromes launched his career. No, I'm just kidding. But we're going to play a clip here. It's a little long, but it's comedy. So sit back, relax. Let's laugh a little bit. Here he is, Ben Bankus.
I just found out that my shows were canceled in Minnesota. Yeah, they were supposed to be next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We sold out 6 shows in Minnesota, and they canceled it because, honestly, I don't know why. Well, yeah, I mean, fuck them, obviously. Like, they wanted to cancel it last week, and then we were like, no, if you're gonna have to pay me. We just sold out 6 shows, so you fucking pay me if you're gonna cancel like that, right? And so they're like, they were pussying out because they got a weird, a voicemail from a liberal being like, are you really gonna have a guy on your fucking stage that made a joke about fucking Renee?
Like a lot of people are against, ICE, right? There's probably a couple in here. Oh, ICE is coming. Yeah, good. What do you want your tax money to go to? You want it to go to fucking feeding these people and housing them, or kicking them the fuck out of the country? I mean, what do you want? And it's fucked up because I'm an immigrant. Like, I'm Canadian, but like I'm an American. I'm an immigrant, but I'm walking around like, you got to get rid of these people. I know where this leads. Leads to Canada.
Pray for they're in their mosque. Inshallah, please let Islam and Allah take over America and Canada and the UK and France and Germany. And God's listening to this, looking at the Jews like, level it.
That's pretty harsh.
I don't want to hear this shit anymore. And the Jews are strapped. They're like, say less. The Somali burqa is just the floating face, the floating, resting Ilhan Omar face. They weren't really bothering me other than they were in my line. I'm just looking at them being like, what do they got? And then they did the move. They fucking unclipped from the general boarding line, screening line, and got in the priority line, which everybody fucking hates that. I mean, if they're wearing a burqa, you're like, I really fucking hate that. And the TSA guy was like, no, you can't do that. And then the woman just started speaking at him in her language. She was just like, you know how they sound. You've seen Star Wars. But the Democrats, the liberals, they'll live right in the crime. And then they'll open a coffee shop and buy the building and evict everybody in the building and gentrify the area.
You see them leaving?
What's over there? Oh, well, it's better than fucking shooting me dead. They lasted almost 9 minutes. Do they have a nose ring? Yeah, when they have those, it starts going off or whatever.
I like that guy, bro.
Bring back based comedy, man. I told you guys on Y-Chromes, I said, this dude's pretty based. I'm going to start playing some clips, and then he gets canceled in Minnesota.
I hope he just benefits from it exponentially, man. And for the record, listen, if a business wants to cancel somebody, I think they have every right to do that. I'm not against, I'm not against cancel culture. I'm against governments influencing and pushing cancel culture. But, the general public and businesses, if they want to go to war with each other because of ideologies and political positions and all that, I'm for it. It's always been, it hasn't been synthetic. You have these NGOs and these things that are pushing strikes, pushing cancel, and that's what I'm against. But if a business owner has a position, this goes all the way back to, you remember the couple that made cakes
in Colorado?
Yeah.
Colorado
And if they don't want to, they don't want to. They have a right to say they don't want to.
I agree.
Now, if the the LGBT community says, well, then we're not going to bring our service to you and we're going to cancel you for that, they have the right to. And then that's when the other side that agrees with the with the cake maker say, well, then we're going to go there and we're going to make sure we support you even more. Like, that's the way that works, and that's the way communities kind of develop their identity. And I'm good with that. It's just I'm not good with all the artificial insertion that takes place with it, because then it becomes an unfair fight, and then that community looks like the way people want it to look, not the way the actual people that live there want.
Yeah, I've always been apathetic to it. I think, if you're dumb enough to cancel somebody that wants to patronize your business, and you're dumb enough to reject that because of an ideological rift between you, and as long as it's something like Democrats and Republicans don't get along, shocker, right? Newsflash. I've never turned away money from a Democrat. Never. I've made when I used to be doing the artwork and stuff, I've made cups when I used to do the Yeti tumblers. I would make cups that had Joe Biden stuff on it. I'm not going to turn that away. Only made like 2 of them. Every other one was Trump. Seriously, like hundreds of Trump cups. My Trump cups that I used to make probably outsold anything even remotely Democrat related, probably 500 to 1. And I'm not exaggerating. Exaggerating. Yeah. And that was on Etsy. So, all right.
Yes. Etsy was for chicks.
No, Etsy, bro. I used to make well into the 6 figures on Etsy with my artwork and stuff.
So
well into, lower end still, but not made good money on Etsy, dude. Good money. Christy's an Etsy guru. She knew how to run all that stuff, man.
She's a chick.
Yeah, but I was the one that started it. My first Etsy got taken down. I was making really good money in my shop doing that, and then it got taken down.
Just say it for me real quick. I was on Etsy.
Damn proud of that. Back in 2018, 2017, before they were a woke garbage company that literally highlighted Black-owned businesses over everybody else. That was the line in the sand for me. I left right away. I was like, I'm done with this shit. All right, let's jump into this story here. The roadblocks in Minneapolis. I'm only going to play like maybe the first 10 seconds of this because it is the most hypocritical, ironic statement I've ever made. So this story, right, Alpha? They put roadblocks in the middle of the road, stopping people, checking their neighbors and everything else, right?
Listen, I did not hear this.
Oh, well, then I'll play the whole thing, but I'm going to stop it at the first 10 seconds or so.
We are literally creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
You're kidding me.
Wait. I know. Hold on. I don't know what reaction you're having right now. Are you having the cop reaction of holy shit, this is kidnapping? Or are you having the reaction of it's a fucking border?
That's exactly what my reaction is. You were removed. So you're creating a border. So you know who comes in. And if somebody comes in that you don't want there, you're going to try to push them out. And that's what your protest is about, because that's exactly what ICE is doing. We have these borders and people came in and now we're trying to okay, you know what? They really are retarded.
They are so retarded.
That is wow, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Let's play it again for the people that may have missed that. I had it up on the screen, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was there.
Here we go. We'll play it through this time.
We are literally creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
Oh, I stopped it. Liberal retard alert.
In the middle of the road at 32nd and Cedar Avenue, a makeshift roadblock turned this intersection into a roundabout. Cars slowed as drivers noticed, some honked, others asked questions, and one man brought food for the people standing watch.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much.
How did it make you feel
he's
just
called
seeing
a
a
delivery
community
guy.
checkpoint in your neighborhood?
Well, it felt fine. I don't have any trouble with folks helping out.
Wade Haynes has been standing at this corner twice a day for one reason: to stand up against ICE activity and keep his community safe. He chose this corner. Others chose this intersection.
It's kind of inspiring. It's like, wow, okay. We've got folks out there who are kind of taking care of us, looking out for us. That's good.
But Minneapolis police stepped
That's another one right there. Oh, it's kind of nice. We got people out there looking out for us, taking care of us. You mean like ICE and law enforcement?
The reporter should have asked them at that point, if somebody shows up to this checkpoint with a gun and starts shooting it, what are you going to do?
Call the police.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, just making sure.
In clearing the roadblock and restoring flow of traffic.
Honestly, I'm kind of sad about it.
Still, residents say the roadblock was necessary.
We need to keep our neighbors safe, so we will be doing this again.
Somebody needs to clip this.
We are literally creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
Like a border? Like a border wall? The jokes write themselves, guys.
So I lost track of who said it, but somebody in the chat said their commitment to stupidity is impressive.
That is a fact right there, man.
That's dude. They just don't get it, man. Like, do you not hear the words coming out of your mouth?
Well, so to be fair, their brains are so small and underdeveloped that they can't think on a macro scale. They only think about the micro and what's going on right around them. And because there was 2 fatal shootings in thousands and thousands of engagements, and oh, by the way, both fatal shootings had an act of aggression towards federal law enforcement, their only reaction is, these guys are going to kill me. They can't think for themselves. They can't think outside of their own small-brained little, reality that they live in, their echo chamber reality, and they can't think like, maybe if Alex Preddy didn't try to attack him. What?
You know what? Shout out to Leslie Bayer, Mama Bear, over there. She's watching on X. I'm going to create a series on my podcast, probably only 20 to 30-minute show once a week, because I don't think I could tolerate longer than that. It's going to be the concept of dinner for schmucks. Maybe you should join me, bro.
I'm down.
We bring on liberals and just entertain, entertain them.
I am so down. The problem with this is that they don't typically engage with us because they are intellectually inferior and they don't want to look bad. I've only had a handful
but we're not going to make you look bad. It's like dinner for schmucks. By the time you realize what's going on, the show's over.
Yeah, but they'll know, like, they'll do research, man, and they'll cancel in the middle of the introduction as the credits are playing.
Will they?
Intros playing.
Did you not just see the video we just watched?
They'll think they can come in and outthink the thinkers.
We would research. We would do those things.
Yeah. I don't know.
We even, give it like rainbows and shit.
I don't know. Let's real quick. I want to cover this. This is a shift. I like to see this. U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, has filed subpoena enforcement action against Nike. Oh, really? Equal employment going after Nike? Federal agency seeks court order for information related to systemic racist discrimination allegations that athletic footwear and apparel giant discriminated against white workers, including Nike's DEI program. Tell me that is not a shift in the culture war. Your federal government finally, because this is something we've been saying for years, when you tell somebody that you're going to hire them based on the color of their skin and a quota, you are discriminating against the people that are not of the color that you're referring to. And these retards made every color part of that discrimination bubble except white, which is massive discrimination against white people. Doesn't matter what the population breakdown is or anything like that. It's all bullshit. We're a meritocracy, and let's get back to it. And if it takes painful compliance to make these companies realize that, then so be it.
I'm good with it. That they planted this seed a long time ago, and it's like, if you hear brown power, you're told pride. If you hear black power, you're told pride. Go down the list. But if you're white power, It's racism.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if they hadn't kind of signaled where they were going with that one.
Yeah. Well, let's just this one last paragraph. The agency is investigating systemic allegations of DEI related intentional race discrimination, specifically that Nike may have engaged in, quote, a pattern or practice of disparate treatment against white employees, applicants, and training program participants in hiring, promotion, demotion, or separation decisions, including selection for layoffs, internship programs, and mentoring, leadership development, and other career development programs. Now, the only thing that I would push back on this, Alpha, is before you start turning your guns on private corporations, look within the government first, because they're some of the worst offenders at this by far. And so before you turn your guns on Nike and everybody else, clean your own house. And I'm not saying that they're not. They are making, it seems like, efforts, especially the military. But yeah, clean your own house.
I agree with you completely, because by cleaning your own house, that problem is going to resolve itself, because the people that are pushing that issue are the ones that you're going to be cleaning out anyways.
Exactly. All right. So real quick, I want to play this clip here. The UK Parliament. We've got a new spin, and then we're going to get into Melinda Gates, man. She is going scorched earth a little bit. British Parliament, new conspiracy theory for everybody. Tinfoil hat. It's not the Jews. It's not the CIA. It's not MI6. Epstein is totally Russian.
Polish government think Epstein may have been spying for Vladimir Putin. Is the Prime Minister concerned that Peter Mandelson may have been leaking state secrets, not just to a paedophile American financier, but also a Russian agent?
That's the new twist. Jeffrey Epstein is a Russian spy.
You know, when they were having that conversation, good day, sir. We got to blame it on Epstein. Because we don't want them to learn about, we got to get the pressure off of Soros. Like, we got to get the pressure off of Soros. Let's just pin everything on Epstein. Oh,
dude, I mean, look, I totally understand that Epstein was probably like a mercenary spy. He'd go wherever the money went. And so I think that he probably did work for CIA, Mossad, MI6, you know, probably did some work for FSB. Not, you know, very well could have. But to stand in front of your own parliament and claim that he was a Russian spy, it's like we're going through the Trump thing all over again, right? The PP tapes and the hookers and the, you know, all that shit. We're going through it all over again, but this time with a dead guy. Which, by the way, man, did you see the story yesterday about him cooperating with federal prosecutors 2 weeks before he was killed? Did you see the story that came out today?
I did not see the one from today.
The one today, I mean, it's indirectly related, but the one came out today is that he was obsessed with tunnels on Little St. James.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one today, but that's actually not a new story.
Well, yeah, apparently there's more on it, and Daily Mail had a piece out.
Yeah, there was actually, who was it? It might have even been Vice that was talking about like the tunnels and the money that was going into it and all that. Yeah, there's some interesting things in there, like some of the submarine companies that were talking about, like the underwater, like fiber optics and cables and things that went into it. It's there's some very interesting information in the file release. However, and I know I'm going to offend some people in the audience, but it's okay, because I'm here to tell you the truth, not to make you feel good about things. A lot of people have gone full-blown retarded by thinking that everything in that file is something factual that happened. Oh my God. It's like people were watching podcasts, got that information, and then called it into the FBI as a tip. So that then, by its very nature, becomes part of that file, because that's where it gets staged, you know, put away at. So then when you FOIL for the request of all that information, that means every weirdo that called in that heard a story and wanted to report it as a tip gets released with those files. Yep. And now you have a lot of retarded podcasters that are out there that are like, bro, it's right there. And it's just like, no, it's just the regurgitation of the story. It'd be like me calling into the FBI right now, just telling them something about CannCon that's completely untrue. and then someone FOIAs a thing on, I want to know all the information that the FBI has on CannCon, and then that fake allegation I populates. No, just because there's, now there are some things like, conversations that are happening between agents regarding things, to look into them, and there's that understanding there. But it's disappointing to see how many people have just gone fully retarded and then lost their ability to be investigators.
Did you see the spy story that Colonel Towner picked up and then I wrote about?
I did.
What do you think about that story?
I think it's extremely interesting. Real quick, just because I saw someone put it in the chat, and I want to go to that because what you're talking about is fantastic. And then I need you to buy me 15 seconds to grab something to share with you. But I wanted to attribute to this, and I lost it. But
got a sponsor.
But, all right, well, say it for just a second, because I wanted to attribute to who said it. But the point was that was the plan. Yes, if you are the bad guys, the deep state, the globalists, the elite, whatever you want to call them, and you know that you can't stop the truth from coming out, what do? You flood it with all kinds of misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda, because you can lose the truth in the mess. And that is what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of stuff that people want to run with, but it's because like, oh, it's vindication, when it's not. And we're losing sight of things that are very important, like these conversations on who are these companies that were doing this tunneling? Who are these companies that were doing the fiber optics? Who are these people aside from Josh, I've seen very few people talking about the DARPA connection, like emails from people at DARPA going into Epstein directly. The DNA, the genetics, like there's important things that need to be talked about. But yes, go ahead and talk about what you're going to say, and I'm going to bring up something I want to share with you on that.
Okay, we're going to hit a sponsor real quick, then we'll get into this. When was the last time you woke up actually feeling rested or got through a day without feeling totally stressed out? Yes. Over 50% of adults say that they'd feel better if they got more sleep, and stress is often the biggest barrier. That's why CBD from CB Distillery makes so much sense. CB Distillery has, has natural solutions for sleep and stress that can help break that vicious stress sleep cycle. And everything from CB Distillery is premium quality, third-party tested, and free from artificial dyes or fillers. They're the source that I trust, and so do 2 million other happy customers. You can shop by benefit. You just go to the website. It's right there at the top. You just click what you want: sleep, better mood, whatever. It's right there. Whether you want better sleep, less stress, improved focus, pain relief after workouts, or even something for your pets, it's all right there. You guys know what I take. I take the Ohm, the tinctures. My pets take the tinctures. I love anything CBD or anything cannabis in general. But if you're ready to start sleeping better, stressing less, or feeling good, check out CBD Distillery. Again, that's cbdistillery.com, and use promo code Badlands to get 25% off. That's cbdistillery.com. Promo code Badlands, CB Distillery. Product availability depends on individual state regulations. All right. Did you find what you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm going to zoom in and bring it in.
But I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
People say I still think those are great songs.
Oh, hell yeah. Yacht rock, bro. Yacht rock, man. All right, pull it up.
All right, hold on. I'm making it bigger so it's easier to see. All right, go ahead and bring it on the screen. So I would tell you guys, you and Colonel and everybody else, that,
are they related?
Bro, okay, that's what we need to find out. So
that's what I was looking up, because when I went through the files, Nadia Marchenko was all over it, and I could not find any relationship between the two.
So her last name was Marcinkovova.
Yes,
but she changed it to Marcinko, just for people to understand. And so when I saw that I was the first thing that went. So, I'd love to say that I stumbled upon this from doing research, but no, this one actually was provided to me from a source that's been very accurate and said, hey. And I'm trying to see, when was the date? This was a couple months ago. And it's
I read the same thing. Like the concept of Marchenko was actually like a guardian.
Right. So this goes back to August 3rd. So and I put this out relatively soon. So it was probably either, it had been the first couple of days, maybe even the late part of July. But nonetheless, this information comes into me and says, hey, start researching this woman, because in the near future, her name's going to be coming up, and people need to know the gist on who she is. And we're talking about her name was going to start coming up in DC, for those that are wondering. And I'll drop the link in the chat because I'm not going to go through the whole entire article, but I do want to go to when they were questioning her on, should be coming up here. In April 13th, in the April 13th, 2010, I can't talk this morning, deposition during Virginia Giuffre's lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, Marcinko invoked her Fifth Amendment right over 42 times. Highlights from the deposition. Do you know Ghislaine?
Ghislaine.
But it looks like jizz. This, we can't ignore that that's jizz.
It's giz. In Mexico, or in America, the GH together makes a g sound.
All right. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell? Fifth. Is Sarah Callen involved in recruiting underage minor females for Epstein? Fifth. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell and Sarah Callen have access to a master list of underage girls? The fifth. Were you aware of Epstein's sexual interaction with Jane Doe 102 when she was a minor? Fifth. It's this. And the other thing, so she's been missing since 2024. Now, what I will say is I don't think, and based off, and I can share this, based off of this source telling me that her name was going to become relevant in DC soon, and remember, this is either late July, early August when I got the information. What I interpret that now, as we're seeing, is I wonder if she got pulled in and made a deal. And that's the reason, that she's been missing. Now, the interesting part is, if that's the case, then how'd she go missing in 2024? And that would kind of hint to operations happening outside the scope of the way we know them to happen, So I'm just saying that there are some interesting things. And then, of course, when you brought, the Marcinko case that you're talking, that's what reminded me of this. And I said, but same thing. I haven't been able to find a connection between them, but we'll see, because I haven't been able to find a whole lot of information either.
Right. The connection that I saw, apparently somebody thinks that Richard Marcinko might have picked her up as a child and taken her in as a guardian, and she took his name as a result of that. Because it's an interesting name. It's kind of rare, but I thought it was because I was when I saw, I know, but when I saw that,
just because of the public information that we do know of her, there's a person that meets that kind of relationship, but that was Epstein. He's sent her to flight school, sent her to all these things. Like he made her. She was one of the favorites.
Was Marcinko though the one that was going with her though, as the guardian? That was the theory, because we know that Epstein was doing all that. What did you think of the story itself, though, the Ken Turner story?
I think it definitely suggests that it's very reasonable that, here this was a threat, that this was one of those intimidation tactics, kind of like the Brian Kemp thing we're talking about with, how you say it, Lafier, the intern.
Yeah.
I think that this is one of those things where there's enough there to at least investigate it. But my initial thought when I went through that the first time was, dang, this was somebody telling somebody you better back off.
Interesting. Well, when I was reading that, I thought it sounded a little too over the top, like it was a little too dramatic. But then what lent it a tremendous amount of credibility was the Logan Turner part, where he said, my nephew was killed in a mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio, in the middle of this conversation he's having with Detective Harkin. In the middle of that, he's like, hey, my nephew was just murdered in Dayton, Ohio in a mass shooting. I got to go back to the States and do this, so I'll be off my email for a while. We just talked about Kemp and the intern, right? That's how you make those veiled threats. And so I started looking into that shooting a little bit, lone shooter, Antifa aligned, probably groomed at some point. But the key that for me was that the shooting took place at Logan Turner's job. meaning that he was going to be there. If there was an actual target, he would be the person most likely to be a target because he was an employee. He was supposed to be there. Everybody else is relatively random, right? They're not necessarily supposed to be there. To plan a mass shooting and have a target that you're planning to do this at, and just randomly it's at a Cracker Barrel, I think it was. It seemed fishy. And in the middle of all of this, it was really, and the fact that he told Harkin this and it turned out to be true gives him credibility. So it's interesting, man. Like somebody needs to check into that ambassador, Earl Wayne, and find that story out about whether or not he knocked up an 11-year-old girl, raped an 11-year-old girl, and has a son with her that can match DNA. Fuck, that's a big story, man. If you can prove that, but how do you prove that? Call your compadres down in Mexico, man. Let's go. Come on. All right, let's get into these clips here. Melinda Gates talking with she's on a media tour right now, and she's made some pretty. We're gonna play some of these. And again, go ahead.
Dude, I love this because I see so many tactics from like that we deploy in local law enforcement. When you saw like a key holder or a kingpin that had a lady by his side for a while,
you run on that lady,
and then there's a new lady by his side. You bring her in, and you bring the old lady in. And you start showing her the pictures and videos you have from surveillance that these people just macking it down, having a good time. Be like, dang, man, he never treated you like that.
Yeah,
what do you want to tell us about him?
Keep that thought in mind as we play these, because I got a comment on that right there. But let's play these clips here.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in? I didn't realize
He was awful.
that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
Mm-hmm. So that's the first clip. You want to comment on that?
Well, yeah. One is, are you saying you witnessed crimes? And if you did, why didn't you report them?
That's a very valid point.
You didn't feel bad enough to report crimes against, a minor, or you didn't feel bad enough to report crimes against an adult woman being trafficked, or, whatever she saw. If she didn't say, I thought the guy was a dick. You know what I mean? She's saying I was horrified.
I was horrified. He was abhorrent.
Yeah. Like, that means you saw or heard him, talk about some crazy things. Why are we just hearing about it now? Which I have a take on that, but I'll wait till you're done with the clips.
All right. Well, this is the post CBS interview where she's like, yeah, we got to scale back the makeup. You want to look more kind of maybe a little more downtrodden. I don't know if that's the right word, but a little more subtle, right?
No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages, those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So, for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage. But I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it. Those questions are for those people, and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck.
I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles.
Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life. And I hope there's some justice for those now women, right? We see them standing up in front of microphones and
All right.
Two things. I asked myself, how does that happen to them? Because people like you didn't say anything.
Yeah. Part of it. Yeah, for sure. Part of it.
And, the statement she made at the end of that video clip there, they're now women, inferring that they weren't women when she witnessed these things. So, she's trying to save her own bacon is what she's trying to do right now. She's probably cut a deal and people aren't going to like that. But here's the thing, to topple, with RICO investigations like this, there are going to be some bad people that are going to get deals we don't like, but that's the way these things unfold when you got to make up for the lack of evidence in some situations, or if you need to create a nexus. A lot of times that what's behind door number 2, but you got to have a legal way to breach the threshold of door number 2. And you got to make deals sometimes so you can have that probable cause.
Here's one more, and this is the one that this one ticked me off, and I'll explain why.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection, and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life.
So you know why this one really grinds my gears?
Well, tell me, and then afterwards I'm going to tell you something I pick up as someone who does interrogations. But go ahead.
Okay, well, she starts out by talking about Bill slipping her medication for an STD that she may or may not get from him sleeping around or whatever the case might be. And says, I felt compelled. I had to leave my marriage and eventually left the foundation. Well, remember, the foundation has and always will be the Bill. Well, not always will be, but it's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has been going around the world promoting vaccines that kill, vaccines that sterilize, vaccines that make people sick. They were proponents in promoting the vaccine here in the United States. They were huge proponents of the mandate here in the United States. Like somebody making you take something that you don't want to take. Or how about one worse? She got slipped a little penicillin dose in her drinks. How about Bill and Melinda Gates researching mosquitoes down here and ability to transmit mosquitoes without our own knowledge by using genetically bioengineered mosquitoes? And this is all like real stuff. Is it coming to fruition? Not that we know of, but you have been an unethical monster your entire life. And now all of a sudden, because something might blow back on you, you're all of a sudden sadness. sadness. Let me go on the podcast circuit and talk about how utterly distraught I am that my husband's a sick pedophile monster. I don't know. Tell me what you picked up on.
Well, I picked up on the fact that she knows that everything you just said, she knows.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the clip, she says, "That's the truth, right?" That's not something someone who tells the truth says. That's somebody. If you're an investigator and you have a defendant that you're interrogating, and you're asking them questions, and they end that statement with, "And that's the truth, right?" It's like, why are you asking me, bro? You're the one that knows the information. But that's just the mind that gets ahead of the mouth. That what she's really asking is, are you believing what I'm telling you, that this is the truth? Like, are you buying it? That's what it is. Actually, if you don't mind playing like the last 10 seconds of that, because I want people to hear it now that you guys had a chance for me to bring that up. But now granted, I always prefer to be able to establish a baseline, but that's a statement that you don't even need a baseline for. It's obvious.
I'm going to get the spinning circle. Let me refresh it.
Yeah.
The emails and the files suggest that Bill Gates. I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on. And
even the sigh after is a genuine sigh, like, oh, I just let all that pressure out that's been pent up inside of me. And they didn't even catch on to it except Alpha. Alpha caught on. Alpha knows.
I like to watch the entirety of these interviews because you could pick up on a lot of stuff. So for those that don't know, and I'll just run through it real quick, is one, never talk to the cops. Okay? Even if you're innocent, don't ever talk to the cops. Right? Just putting that out there. And one of the things that we do is the first part of our entire interrogation is developing rapport and just asking you questions that most people are not going to lie to.
Normal questions.
Yeah. Where were you born? What do you like to do? Especially things that we already know the answer to, so we can make sure that you're telling the truth. Because what we're doing is we're establishing a tempo, a baseline. It's the entire baseline of the way you are, when you're talking to us. Because you got to remember, it is uncomfortable for people to be talking to the police, and that is going to affect, your body movements and your breathing. So you have to establish what this baseline is when they're talking to you. So you understand the general spectrum of what it looks like when they're telling the truth. And as you go through the interview, and this goes to everything like pupil dilations, when they lick the lips, when they shift their seats, what hand people sell themselves out with body movements. You know what I mean? So that's when people say, well, I'm going to talk to the police. I say, well, then the second you get there, cross your arms. Don't keep them uncrossed. Stay straight like that. Because anything you do is going to get weaponized against you. And then, it's you let people tell their story, and you just jot your notes, and you think of things to come back to. So, but in the end, just don't talk to the police.
All right, so this next story, pretty badass. We'll probably talk about this a little bit more in depth on Sit Rep tonight, but President Trump reaching out to the family of Staff Sergeant Michael Olis and announcing to his parents that President Trump is going to be giving him the Medal of Honor posthumously. I can never say that word. Whatever. After he passed away, after he was killed. Here's that clip.
Speaker, don't forget.
Hello?
Hi, is this Mr. Ollis?
Speaking.
Hi, this is Chamberlain from President Trump's office. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I am the president calling for you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
One moment. Of course.
Robert and Linda?
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi, Mr. President. How are you?
Well, how are you both, okay?
We're nervous.
We're very nervous.
I know. You should be, because your son is is going to get the highest honor that you can have. There's no higher honor than the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Oh,
So,
well,
he's going to get it, and Michael is going to be. He's looking down at you right now,
Aw.
and he's saying, "Well, my mom and dad are handling this pretty well."
oh, I hope so. Thank you so much,
Gosh.
President, Mr. President. You have no idea the happiness we have.
Thank you for facilitating this. This is so wonderful of you. We are so thrilled because we've been working on it for so long and spoke to so many people, but you made it happen.
Well, his sister comes in.
Yep, we made it. So you let people know about your boy, right? It's what you did, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Otherwise, how are we going to know, right? People don't know.
Right.
So I think that's fantastic.
And
you did a good job, and he did an even better job, right? And you're going to come to the White House soon. They'll work it out, and we're going to have a ceremony for a few of them, and all brave people. But I read what your son did, and it's. I wouldn't do it, Linda. I wouldn't do it. Okay.
I'm not brave enough either.
Neither am I. Even though I'm a Vietnam vet, I still wouldn't have done it.
No.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful looking guy too. I have a picture.
Oh, thank you.
I just read his story.
Thank you.
I will see you in the White House soon.
Oh,
Linda.
yes! We're going to the White House! We love you! We're playing for you every day! Yes!
Daughter.
Let's do this! MAGA! Yes!
Bring them all down. Hey, Robert and Linda, bring them all down.
Okay,
I certainly will.
We will.
I certainly will.
Yes.
Go celebrate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And your boy is proud of you. Have a good time. I'll see you at the White House.
Oh,
Okay,
wonderful. Can't
thank you
wait.
for the call.
Thank you for the call.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
That is just awesome right there, man. I heard that yesterday and I was like, I gotta play that, dude. I had somebody was cutting onions in the house when I played it. It's pretty, so we'll talk more about that. I got a story about him that we'll talk more about on Sit Rep tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for that.
I hadn't heard of him, so I was actually reading the story right now.
Yeah, it's pretty serious shit, man. Pretty serious shit, and he definitely deserves that. So speaking of war and President Trump, or lack of wars, President Trump talking about his discombobulator. Yeah.
You talked about the weapon, the discombobulator.
Yeah,
What is that?
discombobulator. Well, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
But what does it do?
Let me just tell you, you know what it does? None of their equipment works. That's what it does. Everything was.
How does it?
It was my name. I'm very proud of the name. Everything was discombobulated. It was, practically a shot wasn't. They were ready.
Right.
And when we came, they couldn't do anything.
You saw this on the video. You could tell.
Tom, it discombobulated everything.
Nothing worked, even including humans.
Well, let's put it this way. We lost no equipment in a very strong, and they're good fighters, great fighters. In a very bad environment, it was a military base, the biggest in South America. Because the house was in a base in South, in a very, very tough environment, we lost no men and we lost no equipment.
The discombobulator just knocked everything.
Well, it did.
The discombobulator. It's such a professional sounding name. The DSCMB-10. That's what we're going to call it. DSCMB-47, the discombobulator. That's the military nomenclature of that particular weapon system. Why do you look like you're about to drop something here?
I'm going to give you information, but not on here.
Oh, well, what the you keep teasing.
I just got it. What do you want me to do?
You're such a dick. I'm just kidding. Don't not give it to me. Hey, Alpha, you guys got 5 more. You guys got 5 more representatives in your state that are going to be Democrats. So congratulations. The Supreme Court has refused to take up the challenge to Prop 50. So the current map,
how one works in Texas, but it doesn't work in California. I do not understand.
Every state needs to do it now. Every single state. This is. I mean, granted, I still think that California would be maybe not blue, but it would be a lot more, or maybe not red, but a lot more proportionate if we had free and fair elections. However, that being said, this is plain gerrymandering, dude. Like, this is straight up gerrymandering. If you compare the percentage of Republican votes in the 2024 election compared with the number of Republican representatives, it's gerrymandering. So congratulations, California. You guys are going to be full-blown communists for the long time to come. Another story here.
Not because we vote that way.
Oh, I know.
Make it very clear to people.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I know better than anybody. Well, better than a lot of people. Not anybody, but better than a lot of people. From the AP, the man who tried to shoot Trump at Florida golf course gets life in prison. U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon, gotta love Eileen Cannon, pronounced Ryan Routh's fate in the same Fort Pierce courtroom that erupted into chaos in September when he tried to stab himself shortly after jurors found him guilty. Quote, American democracy does not work when individuals take it in their own hands to eliminate candidates. That's what this individual tried to do, said Assistant U.S. Attorney John Shipley. Defense attorney Martin Roth argued that, quote, at the moment of truth, he chose not to pull the trigger. The judge pushed back, noting that Routh's history of arrests, to which Roth said, it's terrible having Ruth and Roth. He's a complex person. I'll give the court that, but he's a very good one. Routh then read from a rambling 20-page statement. Cannon broke in, said none of that, what he was saying was relevant, and gave him 5 more minutes to talk. Quote, I did everything I could, and I lived a good life, Routh said before the judge cut him off. She said, quote, your plot to kill was deliberate and evil. You are not a peaceful man. You are not a good man. So there you go. Life in sentence for trying to kill POTUS. I love it. Do you want to comment on that or we move on to the next story here?
And we can move on to the next one. It's just there's so many unanswered questions about that one still.
Oh, big time. So I have a source.
Here's the good thing though is if the case is now to its conclusion, or do we have to wait till the appeal? Because I'll say we should be able to start to FOIA this stuff now. That's the one positive side to it.
So I have a friend that is employed in law enforcement in Palm Beach, and is part of the overall detail that secures, the President Trump's locations in Palm Beach. And when this story broke, he had told me some things that, because he wasn't on duty that day, but he had told me some things that were coming in. And this was way after the fact. And one of the things was that he had been parked at the post office for like 4 days before this came in. That never came out in any of the reports, that he had a black SUV, or was it black? It's like a Nissan or dark gray Nissan SUV that was parked at the post office right down the street. And that's where he was, like, I guess, camped out waiting, and also I heard some things about the firearms that he did fire and they fired back, and that, there was a lot of things, and I can't remember. It's kind of foggy in my head right now, but I'm with you. I thought that was a strange thing. And then of course his whole history just screams intelligence,
the Ukraine stuff and all that. It's just
Ukraine. I mean, it's like the same guy with Vance Bolter, right? With the Praetorian Guard. I mean, even his company was named Praetorian Security, right?
Why isn't that still all over the headlines, man?
We just like forget about these things like right away. And now it's like, oh, Klobuchar is actually gonna run for governor, and she might hand Tim Walz her seat, because Tim Walz said he won't run for office, but he's not running. If she hands it to him, he's just getting appointed, taking her place. And it's like, you forget that there was a credible accusation that somebody was going to try to kill you, and that Tim Walz hired them to kill you, and you're going to give them your Senate seat. It's a little strange, man.
Maybe that's she made a deal with him to survive.
Possibly. I don't know. But you know what will warm the heart? Watching this right here. This is one video. This one will warm the heart. The next one I'm actually kind of sad. Not sad, but I'm empathetic.
First, we will be closing the sports department in its current form.
This is the layoff of 1/3 of all the employees of the Washington Post. 1/3 gone.
We plan to retain several reporters to join features and cover sports as a cultural and societal phenomenon, as well as several folks to staff the print sports section. This is obviously a uniquely and incredibly difficult decision. Our sports coverage is often superb. Our sports writers are among the most talented in our business. Sports has a very proud legacy at the Post. Unfortunately, we are grappling and have been with just major changes in the way sports news is delivered, shared, and experienced across the industry. First,
Okay. So WAPO, this is the one that was like at least a little bit like, okay, that kind of sucks. But Lizzie Johnson, I was just laid off by the Washington Post in the middle of a war zone. I have no words. I'm devastated. And just a week or two ago, she was posting, waking up without power, heat, or running water again. But the work here in Kyiv continues. Warming up in the car, writing in pencil, pen ink freezes, buy headlamp. Despite how difficult this job can be, I am proud to be a foreign correspondent at the Washington Post. That was on January 25th. So that is telling me right there that she knows these firings are coming down, and she is trying to exhibit her relevancy and her necessity to the publication. There's also a statement here. This is from Ben Mullen. It's from Marty Barron. Ben Mullen posted it. This ranks among the darkest days in the history of one of the world's greatest news organization. The Washington Post's ambition will be sharply diminished. Its talented and brave staff will be further depleted, and the public would be denied the ground level fact-based reporting in our communities and around the world. And that is needed now more than ever. And where's my last post in this little segment here? Wall Street Mav said it best right here. Early 2025, USAID canceled 83% of contracts for 5,300 projects, impacting $27 billion in funding. And Trump also cancels Ukraine funding. By 2025-2026, Democrat fundraising cratered in 2025, and massive layoffs announced at the Washington Post, Politico, and other radical left media. It's almost like they've been funded by the CIA the whole effing time.
Just saying.
It's fascinating to watch, man. I absolutely love it. Let's see. Do I have anything else? I don't think I have anything else. You know what? I gotta address this story. I talked about it last night on DPH. I joined them for about half an hour or so. I talked about it on DPH, and I gotta say, all right. So Reuters exclusive: U.S. spy chief's office investigated voting machines in Puerto Rico. Alpha, you look like you're smiling over there.
Continue.
All right. Team working for President Donald Trump's spy chief, Tulsi Gabbard, last spring led an investigation into Puerto Rico's voting machines and said Gabbard's office and 3 sources familiar with the previously unreported events. The sources said the goal was to work with the FBI to investigate claims that Venezuela had hacked voting machines in Puerto Rico, but added that the probe did not produce any clear evidence of Venezuelan interference in the U.S. territory's elections. Gabbard's office, in a statement to Reuters, confirmed in May the investigation, but denied a link to Venezuela, saying the focus was on vulnerabilities in the island's electronic voting system. This stemmed from their use in ODNI said that some security gaps in the voting machines used in Puerto Rico stemmed from their use of vulnerable cellular technology, and that software flaws existed that could give hackers access deep into the vital electoral systems. I'll let you comment because you look like you want to say something, and I know we're going to butt heads on this like a
No, I know what you're going to say, so I'm waiting for you to say it so I can rebut it.
You can't rebut it.
Yeah, I absolutely can.
Okay, this investigation was not based on Venezuelan interference. This was an investigation that Puerto Rico asked them to go and investigate after the June primaries there had more votes or more paper ballots than votes cast, and another few machines were actually flipping the counts. This was not a request to investigate or a claim. Let me make sure I cite it properly. This was not The goal was not to investigate claims that Venezuela hacked voting machines. It was to do a standard forensic analysis and go wherever the evidence might lead you. Go ahead.
I agree.
Oh, okay. What the fuck are you talking about?
I thought you were going to say that this shows that Venezuela wasn't hacking other countries' elections, because that was not the scope of this investigation.
That was not the scope of the investigation. However,
You can't say however. You cannot say however.
yes, I
You
absolutely can. Yes, I can.
If you have a limited scope investigation, you have a limited scope investigation. That's the way that works, especially if you're dealing with a foreign country.
It wasn't a limited scope. It was a simple forensic analysis. That's not a limited scope. There was no, it was not a specified scope of, because here it says the goal was to work with the FBI to investigate claims that Venezuela had hacked the voting machines. That was never the claim.
I'm not talking about what the claims were. I'm talking about what they actually said it was.
So,
and if you look at what they actually investigated, that wouldn't have taken you outside to trace it back to where the origination of this infiltration would have came from. It was looking at the software itself.
I can say you're wrong.
Show
and that's
me.
all I can say.
Show me.
For right now. No, I can't. That's all I can say right now. I have sources too, and my sources are anonymous sources. I cannot say any more than that. But
The thing is I think a lot of people think that when these elections are, when the fraud is inserted, people don't have team jerseys on, on Team Venezuela. No, these are contract operatives. These are people that are, being paid by the highest bidder. They're coming in, they're mercenaries, whatever you want to call them. You have to track down where these people came from, the money, follow the money, follow the relationships, follow the birth of these things. You've done a very good job of articulating this company bought this company, that bought this company, but you got to take it all the way to the root of where did these people come from? Where was the brain and seeding of all this that originated? And doesn't matter how many times you do that, you are going to, in one of the countries, not the only country, but one of the countries you're going to end up in is Venezuela.
Negative.
Okay. I'm telling you.
You might have Venezuelans, but they're not in Venezuela.
Well, the deed is going to be once the deed gets outside the borders into these other places, it doesn't, relieve, the country itself from having anything to do with it. No, it doesn't.
Well, it does in the sense that the claim is specifically that Maduro is the one that's orchestrating it. That is the claim that I push back against. I've always said that there absolutely could be Venezuelan involvement in this, but it's not at the behest of Maduro or Chavez. It never has been at the behest of our very own CIA.
It's at the behest of Maduro until Maduro tells us who actually did it.
Well, that could be. That very well could be. And I've always said that could be a case, and that he most likely is a whistleblower at this point. He is most likely state witness. I buy into that fully. But the build up to that and the continuation afterwards and the narrative to put, or not the narrative, but the push to get Hakuna Matata. I haven't done this one in a while.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. The push to get Hakuna Matata in place is, and the continuation even after the capture of Maduro is concerning. This whole thing needs to tie back to London, in my opinion. It needs to tie back to our own CIA, and it needs to tie back to British intelligence and other Five Eyes intelligence agencies.
It's going to bounce off a lot of countries before it gets there, though.
I think so too. I do agree with that. I also think it was genius going to Puerto Rico, because Puerto Rico, most people think, and I remember this reporting when it happened. I was all over the Puerto Rico story. I was talking about it on shows and stuff, but we never got much information out of it. And, a lot of the things that happened in the Puerto Rico thing were very similar to things that happened in Georgia, things that happened in Arizona and other places, especially the more paper ballots than votes cast. That's a massive red flag anytime I hear that with voting machines, because that's already a known problem with the system, and that's within the system itself, and that is ground level, potentially cellular level manipulation at that point. So Okay, we don't totally disagree on that, and that's a good thing. That's always a good thing when we don't totally disagree on Venezuela's involvement, because I like to call you, well, I'm not going to say what I call you when you're not around. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I was like, I want to know. I'm curious.
Now you're in the camp of that guy that sold us out 5 minutes into our show. You're in that camp, so I don't mess around with that shit. All right, let's get into some Rumble rants here, and then we'll get out of here. Holy crap! Let me pull these up here. Lee Walden, ahoy! CannCon, Alpha, and fellow co-founders. Badlands on the rise. Much appreciate you. Hold on. Lee Walden said it. So we got to make it official. Boom. There it is. Co-founders. My wife and I both have co-founder shirts. We'll be wearing those at GART. Thank you, Lee Walden. And Semper Paratus, or whatever it is you coasties say. Reber Hart 29. Brian, awesome job on the response to Real America's Voice. I'm so inspired by your work, and all Badlanders need to make sure we are fighting the good fight in this info war. Thank you so much, Reber Hart. Generous rant there. Thank you. I am going to be on Stinchfield at some point tonight. I don't know when, but it'll be before sit rep. So 7, they said 7 p.m. So I don't know the exact time, but I'll post it on X when I find out. And big hat tip to him for doing that. That takes a lot to just not ignore something and to, go further with it. That's a big deal. And I'll break some, well, you guys already saw it, the 4th judge now. So I'll break a little news over there as well. One Ohio gal now, Alpha, in the new soft disclosure ad was that gorilla sniffing his finger after reaching around back.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're so the international man of not really mysterious. Illinois Danny, $5 challenge. Show some support to these citizen journalists. Always choose the truth. You got this. Thank you. Brian E. Murphy, Q folks always have developed insight into the deep state. We followed all the crumbs and educated ourselves how their psyops work and the crimes they commit and how they cover it all up. Now we guide the public. Heck yeah. Bobuifu, can't make this shit up. Make what shit up? Let's see. It was 10:59, so I'm not sure what we were doing around that time. The most fascist, anti-fascist ever. LMFAO. Oh,
that was the border one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the one that's like, we're going to block the neighborhood so that we can make sure we know who's coming in, and we're not going to let you in if you don't belong here, if you're illegal. And Minnesota is a Native American tribe, and I'm not Native American, or it's Native American origination, and I'm not Native American, so I'm on stolen land like Billie Eilish. Lee Walden reminds me of All in the Family. He wakuijigu stuff troop. What? He akui weedeth good stuff troop. He walkie weedeth. I don't know what the heck Lee Walden is saying right there.
I think Lee Walden stroked out.
I think Lee Walden is like my dad, and he does talk to text and like doesn't proofread it before he sends it. That's Lee Walden. Lee Walden, you are my dad's spirit animal. OTB20, Robert Gouvet went on Brian Kemp's story and gave Badlands and Brian Lupo multiple shout outs. Yeah, he did a really good job. I was watching it this morning in the background because they told me about it yesterday. And I was watching in the background, and it was funny as shit because he gets to the point where I start talking about the judges that get all the promotions. And he's like, the Inspector General, Scott McAfee. And he goes, the Scott McAfee? And I was like, he caught on. He picked up on it right away. The Inspector General got promoted, but to a judgeship by Kemp, and then went on to get the Trump RICO case. It's a small world in Georgia courts. Apparently, there's only 4 judges in Georgia, and they've all been appointed by Brian Kemp.
It's a small world, and everybody involved in these dirty things. If you guys remember, the DA that came after me for the FBI got promoted to judge.
Lee Walden came back in again with another rant and said, the show is all on the family. I get that, but I don't know what the heck that Iraqiness. I don't know what that means.
You struck out on the last part.
It's our coasty friend, man. We got it. Archie Bunker and Edith. Oh, how the hell did you get Archie Bunker and Edith from that? Hold on.
Yeah, I want to go back and look myself.
Hold on. Oh, wait, it should be saved in the rants because I had the API up. Oh, is it not? Yeah, it's gonna do it. Lee Walden, I hope I got it right here. Where in the hell am I getting Archie Bunker and Edith? Ouchie, woo, Edith, good stuff, troop. I just, Lee, I love you, brother, but you gotta look before you press the send button. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. All of you guys. Absolutely incredible. All right, what you got coming up, brother?
Lee Walden dropped $1. Said,
"You Marines." I haven't seen it.
Called out because he didn't follow your directions. He didn't follow your directions. You gotta show it. You gotta show it.
Lee, I am trying so hard, brother. I am trying so hard to help you. Help me. Help you. Oh, hold on. Let me pull it up.
Oh man, I saw that when I was like, no, Lee, no, just take away his phone.
Okay, so
his phone. You guys zoom in.
All right.
Just leave it there. Don't even say anything. Just put down the phone, Lee.
Modelo of honor.
Put down the phone, Lee. Put down the phone.
We love you, dude. I still don't understand how this goes together. Reminds me of All in the Family, Hiawachi, Woo Edith, Good Stuff Troop, and then Medal of Honor.
I think it went something like this. Bring it back up real quick so I can read it. I got this. I'm gonna help Lee out here.
All right. You can't even do your own ads.
Reminds me of All in the Family.
All right, guys. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. God bless you, Lee Walden. We love you, brother. And everybody else as well. Smash that thumbs up if you've not done so already. Stay tuned for Daily Herald coming up here in about an hour. What else? Today's Thursday, so we've got Sit Rep tonight, Rug Pull. We've got all the shows tonight. Make sure you're tuning in. And Lee Walden's still going down there. It's the phone call with Trump. I get that. I don't know what ouchie you to do is. We should get Lee on the show one day. We should give him an exclusive phone call into Sit Rep and just talk with our coastie brother out there and not make fun of him like the Marines that we are, because we always do that back and forth with Lee. We love Lee. We got a great relationship. All right, we're out of here. Have a great day, guys. See you tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.